I am the shit.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Big Treble in Little China. I am your host, John Lucero. Joining me as always, my co-host, Brittany Beshel.
Hello, I'm going to try to sound a little more enthusiastic than John just did.
I want to, keep it low key, maybe someone listening to this late at night, late drive.
Okay, but then in that case, they need to be a little more awake than that. Jesus.
You're telling me my sultry tones aren't going to keep them awake?
No, you're going to put someone asleep at the wheel and they're going to die, and it's going to be our responsibility. Actually, I just want to say right now, we are absolving ourselves of any responsibility if anyone dies listening to this podcast. But anyway.
Yeah, that's in the fine print of the download. And that's a crazy thing now. Turns out when you download things, you're actually signing contracts.
Nobody reads them anyway, so.
Yeah, it's totally true. All right, it's been a certain amount of time. I don't remember the last one of these went up.
About a year ago.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Some music has come out in the past few weeks that we have listened to, and we're here to talk about that. I think it'll be a mostly positive episode. We'll see. Mostly.
Listen, when I'm involved, it's not mostly positive ever. So yeah. I'm calling myself out. That's fine.
All right, Brittany. I'm going to start with my homework. You wanted to broaden my horizons with Another Eternity by Purity Ring. I'm going to tell you right now, it's pretty bland album, Brittany.
Oh no.
it's the beats, while fine, are just very generic trap beats. I don't know if you realized that because your hip hop taste is only just now starting to form. So, but yes, the beats they use are very trap inspired. That they sing at the I don't know any band members' names that the lady sings over. The nice lady sings over. Me neither.
Nice lady. Yeah. We can just refer to her as the nice lady. The lice lady. Jesus. Yeah. Oh my God.
The lice lady is a whole different person. You don't want to hang out with the lice lady. She's under the bridge, and you don't want to talk to the lice lady. Yeah, the nice lady has a nice voice. It's a little I don't want to say babyish. I don't know. It's very high. It's very high pitched. I don't know if they pitch it at all.
I honestly think they do, and it's one of those things that kind of annoys me a little bit, but I try to look past it because obviously one of my favorite artists of all time, Light, was a victim of that tragic editing for quite a long time in her earlier discography. But I don't know. Maybe over time they'll stop doing it too. I kind of hope so. But I don't know, because I saw them live and I don't remember her sounding as high pitched.
Yeah, maybe it's just they don't mess with it as much during live performances. I don't know.
And honestly, I feel like the majority of the people who are in the audience are probably high off their ass anyway.
That's fair. Let's see. Looking at the track list. I didn't hate any songs, but by any means. Actually, it was funny. Because I just thought the whole time I'm like, I wish someone just rap over these beats. I might actually like this. Because some of them they're not bad. Dust Him I thought had a really nice beat to it that I just wanted some. If they even got a rap feature on some of these songs, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. Who knows? We might see that on the next album. Not that they've said anything about that coming into existence anytime soon, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, but there was nothing wrong with this album. It just nothing really grabbed me in my listens, save for a few beats. Also, I think is it Body Ache or Push Pull? I think it might be Body Ache, where the one time they do some weird thing in production, I think they just sampled a wet fart the entire time. I wasn't.
No idea what you're talking about, but I guess I got to go back and listen to these songs.
Yeah, I can't. I know they really didn't do that, but whatever they were using just literally sounded like a wet fart to me, and it was just I was not into that.
I think it might be Body Ache. I'm trying to imagine what you're talking about, but
yeah, I want to say it was Body Ache, but
because I'm thinking about like that really low like wah, like synth part of like the chorus maybe, or
no, this was like throughout. This was a sample they used throughout the song or whatever they were whatever sound they were using, or what because it was just always. And once I realized that's what it sounded like, I could not hear it. And, so
essentially, if I go back and hear this, you're going to ruin a song for me.
Possibly, you might. Maybe you won't hear it. Maybe
I'll enjoy it more.
maybe you'll find out something about yourself along the way.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. Like I'm not gonna sit here and shit on it. It just didn't really do anything for me.
I mean, I guess I understand because like I said before, the first time that I listened to Purity Ring, I wasn't particularly impressed, and I guess it was because I don't know, there was just something about the first album I wasn't into, and then listening to this one made me go back to that one and appreciate it more. So now I'm just thinking, would you like that album more, or would you hate it more? Well, not hate it, but just Yeah.
Maybe I'll listen to it because this album wasn't very long. I want to say it was like 30-40 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty short. Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is, too, I feel like the strongest tracks in this album are literally back-to-back. Like, you have that big chunk of, like, Begin Again, Dust Him, and Flood on the Floor that are, in my opinion, the three strongest ones.
Yeah, Dust Him was probably my favorite song. So.
Yeah. But, I mean, I still love Purity Ring. They put on a fun show, too, so...
I can see that,
Yeah. But I guess we can move on to what you gave to me for my homework, which was... England Keep My Bones. Yeah, believe it or not, it's actually not rap for once.
Yeah.
It's an album called England Keep My Bones by Frank Turner. Is it just Frank Turner, or is it Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls?
Usually just Frank Turner, but you can say, either. Sleeping Souls is usually just his touring band. I don't think they've ever put an album out with that title.
Okay.
So.
Well, anyway, I'm kind of feeling the same way that you were feeling about Purity Ring, in the way that I didn't hate it, but not really too much really stuck out for me. Just because this isn't necessarily my style of music, the kind of like, so I don't even know if I'm describing this right, kind of like Irish punk rock. Like,
he has roots in punk rock. It's very Bob Dylan-esque or Billy Bragg and that style of music.
Because I'm not really familiar with them too much either, but I was just thinking more along the lines of like, God, what are some bands that I've worked before? Like maybe Real Big Fish or something like that, and I've never really been into them. So certain songs, I don't know. I can tell you which ones I definitely did like. The one that stood out to me the most may be Redemption. Like, the breakdown of that song is sick. Like, that's very such a good song. Yeah. One Foot Before the Other is also kind of a banger in a way.
It's very go. It's the entire time.
See, because that's the thing, is I feel like some of the songs in here, like I Still Believe, were kind of boring, and I wasn't really appreciative of the super shouty vocals because it's just I never like that. Rivers also a little on the boring side, but mostly because I just don't connect to kind of like the country bluegrass style too much. I Am Disappeared is another great song.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Frank Turner song, actually, and just like I love it. Mostly what it's about. It's just a very affecting song when you dig into it. But
but I mean, certain songs like Wessex Boy just kind of were putting me to sleep.
Wessex Boy is my least favorite song on the album. One of my least favorite Frank Turner songs, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and then Glory Hallelujah, also just not my style.
I have a weird, because I think that's a well put together song, and I agree with what he's saying. It's just I don't agree with saying it that way. you don't have to put with like just putting down religion like that. If like I only do that when the person deserves it. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm very on the side of like keep your opinions on certain things like that to yourself. Like don't push your agenda on other people as far as religion is concerned. Like if you're not into it, that's fine. But also don't go door to door and try to recruit people. Yeah. I feel like they're both equally as bad.
Yes.
Somebody wants to believe in something, that's fine. Like if that's what gets them through their life, leave them alone. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, and he pushes his agenda, and it bugs me.
But I mean, as far as Frank Turner goes as a whole, I mean, because of the few songs that I really did like, I definitely will listen to him again just to see if he has more of like, there's literally just like, I don't know how to explain it. Just like those more thrashing songs, kind of.
You could check out his band before he went solo, A Million Dead. Mm-hmm. They're way more hardcore punk than I think. It might not be quite what you're looking for, but you can check them out. It might be a little too far in the other direction. Because it's like a very big shift from his solo stuff and his band stuff.
Yeah, I guess because like the more slow thing. And again, like I'm saying, it's not a bad album. It's just not my style. So I don't want to knock it too much just because, I know that you like this album quite a bit. So I'm not going to say.
I do. I love it. I love this album. It just speaks to me. A lot of things he says just speaks to me. I agree with him on a lot of things. Yeah,
like Peggy Sang the Blues, I feel like had a pretty good message to it too. It doesn't matter where you came from, matters where you go, all that.
Yeah,
fun stuff.
Him hanging out with his and playing cards with his dead grandma. Is a pretty fun image. But yeah, like I said, I Am Disappeared. Just the whole like the fear of like getting stuck in a relationship that no one's really happy in. Just settling in life is generally what the message of that song is, and
Which is funny because there's another song that we're going to talk about today that has the same message basically.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm very much of the opinion that you should never settle in life. And,
no.
So that song all speaks to me because it's so sad because it's just people that settle and just aren't happy, and it's like so. But yeah, I just want to give you something different. I pretty much expected what you said. I don't
know what it is about me, but these days I just can't really get down with like slower tracks, particularly when it's an artist that I'm not too familiar with or like already previously a fan of. Because then I'm going to be kind of hypocritical when I talk about other stuff in a little bit here when I talk about how much I love slower tracks, because it just doesn't seem like I'm talking in circles. But yeah, I just need stuff that's a little more upbeat to like really catch my attention and say like, hey, we make good music, pay attention to me, because anything else I just kind of like my attention span is so bad. But yeah, it wasn't a bad album, and it was nice to have a little bit of a break from the rap, which isn't necessarily true because of this one album that we have to talk about, but
yeah, you surprised me.
Yeah, I surprised me and they surprised me.
It's gonna be an interesting conversation. But yeah, I'm glad our homework went over relatively well. I'm always down to listen to new stuff, and
it's been worse in the past.
yeah, so moving on to some little more in-depth conversation between both of us on some more recent stuff. We got a couple albums we both listened to extensively. Some more than others. And we're gonna start out with rap trio Flatbush Zombies in their latest album, their second album after 3001: A Laced Odyssey from a couple years ago. Latest album, Vacation in Hell, which came out probably about a month ago, two to 3 weeks ago. It's been a minute, so but scheduling.
We died for a little bit, so that's on us. Yeah,
but I have listened to this album a lot. So and the first time I listened to it, it didn't really. I don't know why, because now the first half I think is generally better than the second half. But the first half didn't grab me, and I don't know what it was. I think it might just been a mood situation. I was driving, and I just wasn't like listening to it. But once I want to say Headstone was a song that finally just grabbed me, which is like the fucking 5th song on the album, and this is a 19-track album, which is the.
Listen, it's long, but this is probably one of few times you're going to hear me say that it wasn't too long, because I was fine with it the entire time.
Yeah, it's a very good 19-track album. But I'm not ready to say negative things yet. But yeah, it's a very good 19-track album. Anyway, Headstone, first song that grabbed me, and still probably my favorite song on the album. It's just a really good banger centered around all the verses centered around using references to old hip hop albums, hip hop artists, hip hop lyrics. It just reference upon reference upon reference.
All things that went completely over my head, but I was just like, the flow in this thing is so good. I was deceased listening to this song for the first time, to be honest. And
Michi Darko, who handles a lot of the hooks on this album with his ODB style vocals. God damn, I love him. He's and I just love the way he like words, like the end of words linger on his mouth, like headstone, and it's like, I just like the way he just like extends words till it, like he's breathing them. So I love that. But and I love the reference fest. Generally I get annoyed by that kind of stuff, but I thought this one was well done. Just flowed super well. They even sampled in, they changed the vocal inflections for like certain things, like for Tupac references and stuff like that, or like they sampled in different songs. You might have actually caught the Jesus Walks sample that they put in there towards the end. I don't know if because they reference Jesus Walks and they sample in, and I think the beginning of it. So yeah, that song is just a lot of fucking fun. So yeah, once I got that, I started actually just clicking with it, and I really enjoyed it. I listened to it probably at least a dozen times, like from front to back. But and Brittany listened to it more than I have, actually. But,
I know, which is insane to me, but I don't know. When I like something, I like it a little bit too much. But yeah, there's just so many freaking songs on this thing that, because I mean, I've talked about this so many times. Like when I listen to an album, I will give it a few chances, but then if there's a song that just does not grab my attention and it doesn't ever like stick with me, I have to delete it, because when it comes on, I'm gonna skip it every time. And for this album, there's like very few songs that I didn't keep. Headstone, absolutely a favorite, but I think my actual favorite song on this is Best American. Best American's, it's probably top 3 for me.
Best
American
I'd say
so
3. Good. Yeah, it's really good, and it's just I like what it's talking about. It's one of the few songs I feel like actually tries to say something. A lot of these are just like people going bar for bar with not a lot of substance to it. Mm-hmm. I think I'm fair in saying that most of the time. But Best American, just really tearing down the idea of like what makes a good American in this day and age. And I really like that. Let's see, You and I think is also a fantastic fucking song. I love You and I.
It is. It has such a good vibe to it. I love it.
Yeah, that's probably my second favorite. Crown, Portugal the Man. I think he handles the bridge, and I think he kills it on the bridge.
That song. That's another hot song. God. This is just another one of those albums that I just fucking loved it from like pretty much front to back. Of course, there were a few songs that I wasn't too crazy about. Like Real Girls is a song that got a little irritating to me after repeated listens. Like I liked it at first, but then just like the lyrical content, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think
Leather Symphony is another one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Facts wasn't really all that great either. Like how they just keep yelling facts over and over again.
Yeah, that's my problem with the album. Like, because I went from thinking it was okay to loving it to now I'm just thinking it's a very good album, and it was with some issues. In that it's, like I said, it's 19 tracks, and even though none of them are actually bad tracks, they're all totally listenable and enjoyable by themselves. Plenty of these could have been trimmed out to make a tighter, better album.
Like maybe You Are My Sunshine that I wasn't into.
Yeah, it's a weird one because because that one's it's a very meaningful song to the artist.
Yeah, but it's just still boring. Yeah. Because if you want to talk about a song that has like some deep shit in it that I really do like, it's Trapped.
That last verse of Trapped is very dark.
It is. It's probably one of the darkest ones that we will listen to this year. I'm just guessing. But still love that song so much.
Yeah, You Are My Sunshine is a tribute to A$AP Yams, who died end of last year. I thought maybe it was January. It was around that time from a liver failure from codeine abuse. And there have been a lot of different tributes to him in rap. So he was apparently a very liked individual, very well liked and respected. I never really heard much from him because he was still pretty young when he died. So that's who he's singing about. And like being there when he died. So, but yeah, Trapped, that, because that last verse, and I believe it's Michi Darko that sings it. When he just talks about basically contemplating the whole time when he contemplated suicide, like the entire thought process of contemplating suicide, going from how he would do it to who he would affect, and what will be the best way to do it for when they find his body, so it doesn't affect his family the most when he kills himself, and then like feeling bad for doing it but still wanting to do it, which makes him feel even worse. So it's a lot in a very relatively short verse.
Yeah.
Like in about a minute. And it kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere, because there are hints to, I think Chunky, even the second song, has some suicide references in it from him also. So
I mean, Chunky's also another really good song, though.
Yeah, Hello, Chunky, great. Vacation is almost great, but I don't like the hook in Vacation.
Yeah, it's another song that I liked a lot when I listened to the album like the first 10 times. But then after that, I was just kind of like, all right, whatever. Yeah, because
it's so amazing. It's like a very radio hook, and it's just a song that doesn't have a lot of
staying power because it just gets old.
Yeah.
But I think Big Shrimp is another pretty decent one too. Like, I wasn't too crazy about the verses on it, but I loved the chorus. Like, the reverb and the autotune are actually used in the way that they should be, which I feel like is not something I get to say very often. Because you know how I feel about autotune. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But they actually...
That's interesting. When you say 808s is going to be your favorite Kanye album.
I know. Well, it's because, I'm like into the more electronic stuff. And I know that there's more of that in there, so that's probably the only reason I'm saying that. I could be totally wrong. Who knows?
We'll see. It's a long way away. But anyway, back to this. Which song were we talking about?
Big Shrimp.
Yes. Yeah, I like Big Shrimp. It's one of the songs that I like it when I hear it, but I will never go out of my way to hear it. It's
that's also me with like Ask Courtney. I mean, just talking about Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain, I'm not really interested in hearing about it anymore because it's such an old and tired subject.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird 2018 song.
Yeah, that's another one that you're saying, like, if you want to trim the fat, like, that one could have just not been there.
I'm gonna
SoundCloud.
If I were to trim the fat on this album, I would take out Leather Symphony, Ask Courtney, Proxies, Goddess, which
is so forgettable. I literally don't remember the song talking about it now.
I'll give him "You Are My Sunshine," but I would, personally, I'd take that one out, and probably "The Glory," even though I like Denzel Curry, I feel like that's a pretty forgettable song too. But that makes it like a 15 song, like a 12, 13 song album at that point. So, which
is a little bit more palatable for people who are a little more impatient.
Yeah, and again, they're not bad songs. They're just kind of they're almost throwaways, which is the problem. They don't stick out the way a lot of the other awesome songs do.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally the entire album is worth a listen, like from front to back. Yeah, at least once, twice if you liked it the first time. But yeah, a lot of the songs definitely are not gonna. Well, not a lot of them. A few of them are definitely not going to stick with you.
Yeah, and I do kind of like the concept that I think there's a loose concept here of like because it starts out really energetic, but like slowly gets darker and darker, kind of like, you know, a vacation in hell. Like you go on vacation and it's all exciting, but you realize the place you're vacationing in is still just as shitty as where you came from when you get past all the like a tourist attraction. But if you leave the attraction, like it's, you know, it turns into a shithole again. So I kind of felt like that's what they were going for, at least like with the slow tonal shift of the album.
Right.
I might be giving them too much credit, but that's how I read it. But yeah, I really did like it. It's just I liked it more initially than I do now. It's still a good album and totally worth listening to. I'm glad you liked it, Brittany. So because it's 19 tracks, so it's like, you know.
I bet when you probably suggested that album, you were just like, she's gonna hate the shit out of this just because of how long it is.
Yeah.
But also, I wasn't looking forward to it because you had said to me already, you were like, yeah, I listened to the first 3 songs and I wasn't into them. I'm like, Jesus Christ, John didn't like the first 3 songs of a 19-track album, and now I'm gonna have to suffer through it too. Like, it just didn't sound like it was going to be a good time, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah, it's one of those weird cases. I really don't know why I didn't like them, because there's some of the best songs on the album. So, you know, especially Hello and Chunky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of good bars in there. If that's what you're looking for, I think you'll find some. Michi Darko is worth the price of admission in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go back, because it's my first album I've actually heard of theirs. I didn't listen to their last one or the mixtape Better Off Dead. I've been meaning to. So I might go back eventually. We'll see.
Yeah, and then based on what your opinion is on that, I'll gauge whether or not it's worth listening to me, because I'm not just going to go do it on my own. I'm never going to go seek out rap on my own. I don't think I'm ever going to get to that point. I definitely like it a little bit now, but I'm not just gonna be like, oh hell yeah, I need to check out the latest shit or go back and check out their older discography. I just can't do it.
Yeah, you know, it's taste is taste. You can't.
Yeah, true.
All right, Brittany, we're gonna move on to an album that you were highly anticipating before it came out. The Aces' "When My Heart Felt Volcanic," which is a really long title.
Wait a minute. Okay. I think it might be the second longest title of the albums we've talked about on here so far. About You, Paris. Which for some reason, like, unless I'm literally reading it, I cannot remember what exactly it is. Now I'm just going to say it now and probably butcher it. All We Know of Heaven, All We Need of Hell. That's probably, right. I think that's right. But either way, too fucking long.
Yeah, I always forget like the full title of this, but it's When Life Gives You Lemons, You Paint That Shit Gold. I still think I still have the longest title total. You know, the title's long when it has a comma in it.
Oh, but yeah, I'm looking at You, the 1975. Cut that shit out.
Yeah, I like this album. It is a totally solid album, and I like the vocals a lot. But I have a couple problems with it, but I'll let you talk first, because this was more your domain.
Oh God. So I have been listening to the Aces for a while now, obviously, because I mentioned them a few times when they were just kind of like quick hits that I was mentioning with their EP and then a couple singles they released or whatever. And I loved every single bit of it from the start. So yeah, this was highly anticipated for me. But when I was actually trying to sit down and write notes for these songs, I felt like I couldn't really say much aside from, wow, I really love this song. And it just it was just something like kind of stale and repetitive, but I'm just like, it's difficult when you like an album so much to really explain why you like every single song that's on it. Yeah. But that's just the case. Like, of course I tried to go through it track by track and kind of like talk about what I like about certain songs. Like, Stuck in particular, I think, is the first song of theirs that I ever heard. And I have been listening to it so damn much ever since it came out. And I haven't gotten sick of it. I don't think I ever will.
I like it.
God, I just love it. Like the drums just make you want to bounce, like involuntarily. And like that plucky guitar riff, I swear to God, if I ever go deaf suddenly for no reason, I want a chip with just this song implanted into my brain so I can hear it all the damn time. It will literally be stuck in my head.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Fun.
But And also for somebody like me who talks shit about gang vocals quite a bit, the song Fake Nice, it's not necessarily in the recording, but it's kind of become a thing live, which I've seen them 3 times.
You should probably put a disclaimer on this while you're talking about the album.
Yeah, I definitely will. So obviously I'm going to have like a massive bias on this because last week before recording this, I had the pleasure of seeing the Aces live 3 times. I saw them on Monday in Charlotte, North Carolina. I saw them Wednesday in Richmond, Virginia. And then I saw them on Friday when I came back home to Philly. So obviously seeing them live is a much different experience because some of these songs I feel like translate better live than they do recorded. And that's not to say that they're bad recorded because they're absolutely not. But Fake Nice is one of those songs that is so much better live just because like when you go into the chorus, you have that, oh, she's so fake, because it's one of those things that the audience will like chant at them. And it's so funny because when they first started playing it live and there were like live streams going on, you could tell like from the reaction from the band that they weren't expecting people to do that. But it's just, it's amazing sometimes how a song can evolve just based on like crowd participation.
Oh yeah, like the Vince Staples album, Big Fish Theory, is very designed for the club, and you can tell that, and like just the way it sounds, like Party People is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I would love to see Vince Staples live sometime, just because of that, because I want to see. Because I love that album to death, obviously. I just want to see how much more I love it seeing it live with like a crowd that's super into it. Because unfortunately, I feel like I have a hard time finding people that actually like Vince Staples aside from you and I, which is very.
It's a crime. He's very popular, but
yeah,
just not. You know.
Y'all got to get your shit together. But anyway,
I've got friends that like him, so
Yeah. But. So I know that certain people, not going to name names, are getting a little tired of the comparisons to HAIM, but they're there for a reason. Of course, I totally understand that they've been a band since long before HAIM was even a known thing to the public, but you also have to recognize that the style of music they're doing is not necessarily what they were doing a few years back. If you listen to their old EPs, which are not really that easily accessible, you can find the songs on YouTube under the Blue Aces, because that is the name that they went under before. But I tweeted this months and months ago. I said the Aces are making the music that HAIM should be making right now, because to be perfectly honest, as much as I fucking love HAIM, their second album was a massive disappointment. So I feel like maybe the Aces are picking up a little bit where HAIM left off. Especially just because of like the very like kind of like 80s style guitar riffs and everything. Like in particular, like In Love in His Bible, which I'm going to address what is probably going to be the elephant in the room here. It's a dumb song. Like
I want to talk about this.
Go ahead. You go ahead and say what you got to say, and then I'll say what I got to say.
Your Love in His Bible was one of the worst lines I've heard this year. It's like, it is so dumb. I can't, as soon as I can't enjoy that song because I can't get over how dumb saying Your Love in His Bible is.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I try not to hate on it too much, because in an interview, Crystal Ramirez, who is the lead singer, explained that back in Utah, where they're from, which is Bible thumping country or whatever, a lot of the people will use Bible as like synonymous with like great.
Sure.
But I mean, almost in the sense that like fetch is never going to happen, Bible's not going to happen. So like the title is weird. Some of the lyrics are just kind of goofy, like meet me at the moon because we like the altitude. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Yeah. But honestly, like, I still fucking love the song. Like, that bass line is so good. The guitar riff, like, how dare you? And that's how I feel about a lot of the songs, like just how simple the guitar riffs may be, but they just get stuck in your head. Like in the last one, so fucking good. And then like even the gang vocals in that, I love it. You know, it's, oh man, I could talk about this album for hours. I'm not going to, for obvious reasons, because I'm sure you're not nearly as into it as I am. But I still want to know what you have to say about like a lot of the songs, because I knew you were going to say something about Love in His Bible, because a good friend of ours, knowing that I was dragging her to one of their shows, said, well, I guess I got to listen to this album. And she's like, honestly, it's not bad. There's just one song that I really hate. And I knew what it was without her telling me. So you know.
Yeah, I wanted to just clarify that lyric is terrible. And it's anyway. It's the instrumentals are all very solid throughout the album. It's very upbeat, a lot of energy throughout the thing. I like Volcanic Love and Stuck. Bad Love is really catchy. I think that one actually got stuck in my head the most. But one thing I noticed, I don't even know if I noticed the first listen, because lyrics is not a thing I usually pay attention to that much the first listen. Mm-hmm. And I think every song is about the same thing. And that really, especially because the song Last One is about this last time being, I'm going to sing about this. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs afterwards that are about the same thing.
Wait. But John, also, here's the other thing, too. They talked about recently that Last One may have been the first song that was written for this album.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's... It's like literally they're all love songs from whatever perspective okay, I'm going to be completely fair here, because obviously everybody knows I'm not saying this in any way hating them at all. The songs are not all about the same person, because they are written from, I guess, the perspective of all 4 of the girls that are in the band. It just can obviously seem like it's all about the same person because they aren't the strongest songwriters, so if someone told me it was all the same person, I would believe them.
Yeah.
So, and it, like I said, this is not a bad album. I enjoyed listening to it. I thought Hurricane was kind of a weak ballad.
That hurt me a little bit.
But it's just, I appreciated the change up, but it just nothing about it stuck with me. I want to say Put It on the Line, I thought was a little too long.
Oh, God.
And it's like cutting you deep right now.
Yeah, you are. It's fine. I was expecting it a little bit, but I'm just holding on for dear life.
But other than Love in His Bible, I really don't have much negative to say about this album, other than Love in His Bible and the fact that every song got the same thing, and they put a song that it's going to be the last time they're going to sing about it, and then there's 7 songs afterwards. That is an error, in my opinion. But, you really like... The thing is, I feel like, I don't know, they're also still relatively young, and I don't know how long they've been working on this album exactly. It's probably been upwards of 5 years, and you have to figure the girls are between the ages of 20 and 22. So, I mean, the lyrical content is probably not going to be the most mature, but I think for the most part, what they were trying to do was make an album that's fun to listen to. And I feel like so many of these songs get stuck in your head, and it's not necessarily because of the lyrical content. It's just because of the instrumentals and just the phrasing of the lyrics and everything. The whole fucking thing is so damn catchy. It seems impossible, but I will agree with you that these songs definitely get stuck in your head when you listen to them. But yeah, upon multiple listens, the cracks showed more and more.
It's just you being a critic and then me being a fan.
That's probably fair. Yeah.
I think, but also me saying fan is putting it a little lightly, but I don't know if I need to elaborate on that.
Why? I feel like you should. There is evidence of this on the internet. So
yeah, so I mean, obviously nobody could be like, she's making this shit up. All right, so obviously I said I had the pleasure of seeing them 3 times in 1 week, which is insane. Whatever. This is my life. I'm going to do what I want. So I saw them in Charlotte on Monday last week. And obviously, since it wasn't a huge show or anything, a good amount of people stayed by to hang out and talk to them afterwards. So me and my good friend stopped and talked to them. And of course, I had heard from other people before about how cool they are in person and how personable they are. And honestly, if they could, they would stay there and talk to every single person for hours at a time, but it's not possible. But, they were super friendly with me. It just felt like the conversation flowed naturally. And it's one of those things that I really appreciate about artists is when they are also good and humble people and cool to be around, because it sucks when you meet someone and you feel like you can't talk to them because they don't want to talk to you and they are not good at carrying a conversation. Definitely not the case with them. So anyway, I guess we kind of hit it off a little bit that day, because when I was driving back towards Philly on Wednesday, I stopped to see them in Richmond since it's on the way. And didn't really have anything to do for hours, and finally decided to pull up out front of the venue and hopped out my car. And all of a sudden, because I was going to just grab my MacBook and I guess just kill some time doing some extra work or something. And I see that they're just like standing out front, and I kind of look and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should say anything. And I kind of look over and I see them like wave to me, and like, they're not waving at me. There's someone behind me. It's one of those situations, right? Yeah. And so they like basically call me over, and I was like, that's really strange. I didn't think you guys would be here already. And they said, yeah, the PA system wasn't working. So they basically just told us to kill time. So I guess we were going to go shopping. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I wasn't like going to invite myself, but they were just like, are you busy? Are you doing anything? And I said, no, I was just going to sit in my car for the next 3 hours. And they were like, well, do you want to go with us? Now, let me ask you, John, if you were asked by one of your favorite artists to go shopping, what the hell would you do? Would you say, nah?
No. I'd go shopping with my favorite artist. You know?
Right. And they're just like, yeah, you know, the only thing is the one store we want to go to is like a 20-minute walk. I'm like, guys, I have a car. And they're like, oh, yeah, good point. So you want to come with us? I'm like, yes, of course. So basically, I had the entire band pile into my car, and it was one of the weirdest fucking things that ever happened to me in my entire life. I didn't believe it was happening. I texted friends about it. They didn't believe it was happening. I still don't believe it happened. I literally have to look at the pictures as evidence that it did. But yeah, I mean, they are incredibly cool-ass people. If you haven't listened to their music, definitely give it a chance, just because it's really fun. If you have the opportunity, go see them live. Definitely stop by and meet them afterwards, because they would love that. They want to meet everybody. You will be better for it. I'm not exaggerating. I'm sorry, I'm gushing a little bit right now. I probably need to tone it down. But, you know, it was a good-ass week. And that's basically how I could sum it up. This album coming out was a great fucking thing for me. It's kept me in such a good mood for weeks. Meeting them has been an amazing experience. Having people mistake me for being someone who's in the band multiple times has also been very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I love the Aces to absolute death. I'm glad you didn't hate the album, because I have to be honest, John, I was so fucking terrified that you were not going to like it, because I know that you're not a pop guy. But, I mean, aside from the stuff that I can totally agree with you on, you know, maybe little juvenile lyrics put aside, like, yeah, I'm just really happy that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, you know, I guess Brittany would say that this album is Bible.
This album was fucking Bible. You're right.
Oh, my God.
That is my rating. You know what? I think you just inspired a new rating system on this podcast.
Oh, my God. I'm so what have I done? No. All right. We're going to, unless you want to have anything else to say, I think we're, you know.
I need to stop, because I don't think people want to hear me talk about this for hours. I've already said a damn enough. If you follow me on Twitter, you know. If you follow me on Instagram, you know even more.
You can follow Brittany's Tumblr posts about the Aces.
I don't have a Tumblr.
every Tuesday.
No Tumblr. Just I have Twitter, Instagram. That's it. Sorry.
Her fan art will be out soon.
Go check out my blog on LiveJournal.
All right. Some time for some quick hits. It'll be mostly me talking, but you know, what's new?
I already talked enough. You can make up for it now.
Let's see. I listened to Invasion of Privacy by Cardi B, and it was totally all right. It's not a bad album. I'd say the worst part was probably either Cardi trying to sing on Be Careful, or She Bad with YG. Has just got a terrible hook, and it's just YG going She Bad over and over again. But honestly, it's not bad. Like, she, and like the lyrics, even though she definitely had ghostwriters, like are pretty personal, like at least more so than I expected. I actually felt like I came out of the album like knowing more about Cardi B as a person than I expected to. But And yeah, it was, Bodak Yellow is still a pretty good song. I know some people love it to death. It's, let's see, I'm looking at this, Get Up 10, solid starter. I was like, why the fuck is it called Get Up 10? It's because if you get knocked down 9 times, you get up 10 times. Big and Head is a very dirty song, but good. And, I think my favorite song though was I Do with SZA. It's kind of a weird closer, but like SZA's feature is dope. Turns out SZA's really talented, and nobody guys knew that. But
I mean, who?
Yeah. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. Chance had a good feature on there. Just a totally solid album. I'm not going to go back and listen to it ever again, but that's I guess if that affects anyone's opinion on it, I guess.
I mean, I can relate because I'm never going to go and listen to it ever once.
That's fair. I also, to keep it balanced, I listened to Nicki Minaj's singles she put out, a couple singles, Barbi, Tingz, and Chun-Li. And they're also very good. What I didn't like about Cardi, I felt like she does, like, her voice doesn't have enough oomph behind it for. I feel like it's missing a little something when she's rapping that Nicki has. That's why I prefer the way Nicki raps, even though they're pretty similar overall styles. But yeah, I enjoyed both songs. I'm curious about, because she's gonna put out an album this year. What it sounds like. I'm
actually looking forward to it too, because I do like Nicki a lot.
I'm mostly curious to see how she responds to like someone going for her crown.
I don't know if that's going to happen though, because don't they get along? Like, I thought that they just featured on a song together. Or
they did. They did, but then there's like weird, like, I don't. It's hard to tell, honestly, what's true and what's not. I don't look into it that much. It's like conflicting opinions on whether they like each other or not. I don't think they hate each other by any means. But I think Cardi is trying to make it more of a competition than Nicki wants to, because
Nicki's a lot more mature than Cardi B is, and I can tell you that for a fact.
I mean, yeah, and also Nicki's older than her, isn't she?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I've met both of them, and honestly, like, Nicki is one of the nicest people on the planet, and Cardi B is someone who I wanted to smack from the instant she opened her mouth in front of me. Like, I can't handle her.
Yeah, I got nothing against either of them. I do think Nicki has more natural talent, but I'm not, I have nothing bad to say about Cardi B, honestly. So she's doing her thing, and it seems to be working.
Listen, I'm gonna quote something that I heard somebody say on set while I was working last night. I have strong opinions, and I'm a bad person. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, I hope Nicki's got a good album, a good rap album, because I feel like she's been going on that monster reputation for a long time now. It's almost been a decade since that song came out. So, Jesus. She has. So yeah, I will be listening to it. Probably just once, but I'll listen to it. It's other than that, listen to Hear No Evil, Young Thug's new EP, with a dope song that actually also had Nicki Minaj on it, called Anybody. It just got a really, really good vibe. It's like kind of pretty cold-blooded vibe to it. Nicki's got a really good verse on it. Just a really, really good. I treat it like a single, even though there's 2 other songs with it. The other song it's him and Lil Uzi Vert, and the other one's him and 21 Savage. They're both okay. I think the 21 Savage one is better, but I also have a bias because I really don't like Lil Uzi Vert at all. But yeah, they weren't bad. It's just Anybody definitely is the standout track there. Also, Young Thug alone is very divisive on opinions, because he's not a very good lyricist whatsoever, but he has a lot of vocal talent. He croons, and he has a lot of natural flow that he can switch up a lot of times, and he has a good ear for music. It's just he can't rap, he just can't write lyrics. So, and I accept that. And once I did, I really liked his last 2 albums. I really liked them. Some people hated them, you know. You'll probably listen to one of them eventually.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's not very long at least, so there's that. And finally, albums wise, I listened to KOD by J Cole. I'm trying to decide if I wanted you to listen to this or not, because so far I only know of one album we're gonna be talking about on the next one.
Right.
Actually, yeah. Well, I'll save this one. I'll save KOD. I guess we can talk about it next time.
All right then.
It's actually it's hard because it's an okay album. I'm just gonna talk about it. It's okay. J. Cole,
I mean, if it's just okay, then do we really need to go more in depth on it? You know?
Yeah. I'm just gonna talk about it. I guess it's okay. J. Cole it's kind of become the cool thing to hate on J. Cole now. It's mostly due to his fan base. That push him to the moon. He's talented. He's kind of never lived up to the talent though, which is. I really liked Forest Hills Drive, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which came out a few years ago. Not 2014. Came out in 2015. So that was the street address. It's it's not a perfect album, but there's a lot of songs I really enjoy. And then in For Your Eyes Only was the album after that, which was pretty good too. It was an interesting concept album. The problem was it was so until the last song of the album, which was basically explain the whole concept, it would be kind of hard to realize it's a concept album. Which is a big problem with that kind of album. But there's some good songs on there. It's a little sleepy, but I enjoyed it for the most part. And then this one is about the same. It's solid. There's the first song, the title track KOD is pretty good. I wish it had, because J. Cole does his own production, and I wish someone else would do it now, because it's just it's good. It's fine production. It's just nothing special. It doesn't stick out, and he also never uses features. The only features on this album are him doing a pitched down voice to do a demon thing, like a dark voice thing, which is cheesy and worked very well on here. And the album's supposedly a concept album about drug addiction. I think KOD stands for kids on drugs, kill our demons, or king overdose. He tweeted multiple things. And it's but it doesn't really, if I wasn't told it was a concept album, I probably honestly wouldn't think it was. So he has a lot of things to say, but he doesn't really offer any solutions, and I appreciate what he's saying, but he's not saying anything groundbreaking that but his fan base will tell you otherwise. And then this is equally his, the haters now that are becoming more and more to counter the intense fan base. Will tell you it's awful, but it's somewhere in the middle. It's a totally decent rap album. And I would say KOD good. ATM is almost good, but the hook is used too much. It's too repetitive. Kevin's Heart I liked. It's more of his singing stuff. I kind of have a weird soft spot for rappers that can't singing for some reason. I appreciate the attempt, I guess. Some people.
So you just give them that participation medal?
No. I like that because they can't express what they want to say through rap, so they're trying to in a different way. I just as long as they can sort of carry the tune, I'm fine with it. And what they're saying, it's more like what they're saying. I guess it's what I care about.
Right.
But if someone doesn't like it, I'm not going to be like, I can't believe you didn't like that. It's I get it. And then 1985, he goes in on, it's weird because it's not really going in on as much as offering advice to the SoundCloud rappers and like the Lil Pumps of the world, saying that you need, if you don't work on adding more substance to what you're doing, you're gonna burn out and disappear sooner rather than later. And he's right. That's what's gonna happen. And so I actually did enjoy that song. It's also just a good rap song. So yeah, it is a decent album. It is not amazing. It is. It's still a little too sleepy. He needs new beats and he needs to add features to mix up his stuff. He needs to get over his. He even has a song in here where even on KOD, he goes at people that keep telling him he needs features. So now he's aware of the meme, or it's like the self-aware meme thing at this point. So there's that. You didn't have any albums you want to talk about, Brittany?
No, because I'm trash and I've been listening to the Aces and Wolf Alice basically for the past several weeks, and that's it.
Yeah.
By the way, I will just say that if you do like Wolf Alice, unlike John, I guess, absolutely 100% go see them live if you can, because I have been to over 2,000 shows in my lifetime, and they put on the best damn rock show I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I was in complete awe watching them. So I feel like maybe even if you saw them live, John, you'd be able to appreciate it more, because the length of the tracks kind of suits more of a live environment, I guess, because it's more of like a jammy type thing. But goddamn.
All right. Let's see. So I guess at that point now it's time for me to talk about something. I need to talk about Kanye West, Brittany. Mm-hmm. Mr. Kanye West has appeared on Twitter again, which he is prone to do, or he's prone to pop up around the time of new album releases.
Yeah, he only comes back when he wants to sell you something.
Exactly. Which, I can't knock someone for doing that. But, that's, you're trying to sell something. I don't think he really needs to. He's Kanye West, but, whatever.
No, I mean, he could be one of those people that just randomly drops an album at midnight and it would do amazing just because it's him. So, I mean, He doesn't need the promo. If anything, He's hurting himself right now. Yeah,
so he came back and a lot happened. It started out with him basically announcing he was writing a book on a philosophy book. But that turned out to be sort of a troll, in that he was actually, all the tweets he was making was actually the philosophy book, was the tweets, this collection of tweets that he was going ham on. And it was basically like corny dad Kanye doing a bunch of inspirational quotes with a few bits that were actually really good advice mixed in there. A lot of it was really cheesy and like inspirational calendar bullshit. But there was some decent advice for up and coming artists about appreciating your own self-worth and not selling yourself short with your art. So yeah, there's a good stuff in there. He announced fucking 4 albums coming out in a month, like with each within a week of each other. He Pusha T's new album. It's all part of his Good Music label. Pusha T's up first, May 25th. Kanye up second on June 1st with a apparently 7-song album.
That's an EP, honestly.
Yeah, I think 6 is the cutoff, isn't it? Technically.
I don't know. Is there a law in place on that?
I think it's actually all about marketing.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a 7, but it's 7 songs. Week after, a Kid Cudi and Kanye collab will be coming out. And their group, apparently their group is called Kids See Ghosts. So that's coming out the week, and then the week after that, Nas, one of probably my favorite rapper legend, has an album coming out the week after that, and then I think Teyana also a week after that. So 5 albums. So yeah, just 5 straight weeks of good music stuff coming out. No Travis Scott album date, but I'm still holding out hope for Astro World this year. God, it's got to come out. You'll be listening to Rodeo soon, Brittany.
Travis Scott?
Yes, Travis Scott.
Not looking forward to that one either.
Yeah, I know, but so. So yeah, it was a lot of generally good stuff. It was I was excited for all the albums to listen to them. You know, that's like a month's worth of content for this show. It's right off the bat. So whether they're good or bad, it's something to talk about. Like the Cudi one worries me because Cudi simultaneously has one of my favorite albums of the decade and one of the worst albums I've ever heard my whole life. So, you know, go either way on that one. But they've collabed many times before, and it's usually very good. So we'll see. And then things started getting a little different. Kanye, in his current mind state, and of wanting to love everyone equally and only spread love to the world, has started supporting conservatives, a lot of right wings, a lot of extremists. I forget the lady's name that said black people should take the red pill, but he supported her. And of course, our lovely president Donald Trump supported him, wearing the "Make America Great Again" hat in a picture. So that's been a weird experience. It's not the first time he supported Trump. He did during the campaign too at one point. So Kanye put in his goal to say everyone should love everyone is trying to show that by supporting the people that everyone seems to hate.
No, but not only that. See, here's the thing that doesn't make sense about this to me. How can you go from saying George W. Bush doesn't care about black people to supporting somebody who literally does not care about black people? And not only that, you want to keep going on this rant about love everybody when Donald Trump hates everybody except for rich white men. It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So we're going back again past the point where you had me listen to some of Kanye's music, and I was like, yeah, this isn't too bad, and I can support, you know, the music, but separate the art from the artist. He's really just like getting on my last damn nerve again. And I'm just going to talk about this real quick. I don't know if this is something you were going to touch on. He had one of the most bitch-ass moves possible where John Legend, bless his soul, decided to kindly privately message Kanye, just kind of like asking him like what the hell's going through his mind. And Kanye decided to put that out in public, trying to play the fucking victim. Like, not that I had any respect for him whatsoever, but even if I had a sliver of it, it would have just gone straight to hell immediately. Like, I legitimately fucking hate this dude.
He's a bad person.
He is?
He's a bad person. He's an amazing artist and a bad person. This is not the worst thing he's ever done.
No.
And if people think it is, they just started paying attention to Kanye West, or they're just uneducated, I think. Because 2 years ago he had a concert in Sydney where he asked people to stand up during it, and when some people in the front didn't, he got at them, and it turned out they were disabled.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that happened. Of course, the Taylor Swift thing. Which, even though he was probably right, was a really shitty thing to do. Like, his opinion I kind of agreed with, but you don't do that. It's an awful thing to do. He stormed out of the MTV Music Awards in 2006 because he didn't win anything. He in his clothing line, he had the Confederate flag design on some parts of clothing, saying he's gonna make it his now. What else has fucking Kanye done? It's a long list.
Sold a plain white T-shirt for like $200.
That's whatever. Who cares?
I don't know. You mentioned the clothing line, so I'm just like, yeah. Is that what it's called?
Yeezy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeezys. He posed on I think it was the Rolling Stone cover as Jesus. Back in like 06, 07. He calls himself Jesus. He calls himself a god. He has a song where he's screaming, "I am a god." So, he calls himself, he's the Steve Jobs of music and fashion. Fuck, man, I could go on and on about Kanye West. Because I love Kanye West music. but he's an awful person, and this is just it's just him stirring up shit before an album comes out, and he's gonna disappear. So the album comes out. That's what's gonna happen, like he always does.
Yeah. And actually, now I'm looking back at it, that quote that I threw out there earlier, I have strong opinions and I'm a bad person, actually applies to him a lot more than it applies to me.
Yeah, Kanye West is not a dumb person. He's and just let me talk about this. He is more intelligent than people will ever give him credit for. The problem
I'm not disagreeing with that.
No, just let me. But the problem is he thinks he's the smartest person in the room at all times, and he is not. And when he takes a lot of things at service level, and I feel like because he just, with his song, the day we're recording this, Ye versus the People, with him and T.I. basically going back and forth on politics. And it's Kanye saying his stuff, and then T.I. basically trying to, basically taking the John Legend role. It's essentially what John Legend said, but putting it into some rap verses over a pretty good sample. All in all, it's actually not a bad song. It's just Kanye's, lyrical content I don't necessarily agree with at all. So yeah, it is hard because I do love Kanye. I've talked about it multiple times. I'm having listened to Kanye's albums. I love Kanye West music. It's been some of the influential music in my life. And it's hard because Kanye is a terrible person. In the sense that he is a very self-centered person. I mean, he once said his greatest regret in life is that he will never see himself perform live. So,
oh my God.
And I never wanted to come across that I support him as a human being, because I don't. I think he is misunderstood in a lot of ways, but he also brings that upon himself. He is an egomaniac, and he cares about people, but not as much as Kanye. I think the only person he's ever truly cared about more than himself, maybe his kids now. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of his first album where he's going to be truly in dad mode, Kanye. So we'll see how that goes. I hope it's just. I'm worried it's going to be all about this politics stuff, and it's going to be the first album of his that I truly, truly hate. But his mom is probably the only other person he's cared about more than himself, and that'll come across eventually as his albums shift in tone. And I think 808s is literally him. He did the auto-tune thing because he believed he couldn't express the way he felt about his mother dying with his normal voice. So that's why he did the auto-tune album. But in the end of the day, he's still the guy that has done all these awful things, only cares about himself for the most part, and is now supporting fucking Donald Trump. And and it's hard to tell how much of it is genuine, how much of it is a publicity stunt. So if it's really just publicity stunt, it's a really poor choice. This one might have gone too far. Especially just with the current climate, this might be it's not the worst thing he's ever done, but people are going to think of it as that, which is kind of a shame, honestly. That this is the thing. Because, like I said, he yelled at disabled people at a concert. It's like, fuck. He's tarnishing his own legacy. I'm still looking forward to the music. I want to listen to it all, whether I hate it or not. I still want to listen to it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I mean, I still would like to listen to the albums, because it's kind of interesting watching Kanye change as a person. Because the next album up is George Bush doesn't care about black people era Kanye. And you want to talk about publicity stunts? He said that 2 days after the album came out. So if that tells you anything.
Of course.
Yeah. This is not new. He does it every time. He's just, he picked the most extreme thing. And whether he truly is about this whole love everyone thing or not, You know, it is hard being such a big fan of music and always having to say, I know he's a piece of shit, but his music's really fucking good. But that's my lot in life. You know, when one of his albums might be my favorite album ever, you know, that's how I have to live, I guess. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about fucking Kanye.
I mean, we talk about him a lot, I feel like, but this is just one of those instances where you can't just move on and ignore it. And I feel like at least one person would be confused if we did.
Yeah, it's been weird. I was more upset about it at first, or at least it bothered me more at first. It doesn't bother me as much now, just because I just thought about like all the other shit, and I'm like, this is just Kanye being fucking Kanye.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I really hope it's just, and it's also just getting people riled up. They don't even listen to the music just for the politics part of it, because this country is the fucking DEFCON 5 when it comes to politics right now. So it triggers everyone on either side of this argument. So he just picked the hottest button that's been around in a long time and pressed it. So but yeah, it's, now there's probably going to be some conservatives that buy his fucking album that never listened to him before in their life, and probably would have shit on the idea of listening to his music any time before this. So that's probably gonna happen.
Here's something that I think would be absolutely hysterical if it happened, and I know for a fact that it won't, because this is not the world we live in. Just imagine if he was building up this entire thing acting like he was very supportive of Donald Trump, and he basically came out with an album that was very political, but it was literally the opposite of what he's been presenting to us this whole time.
I've had that thought, because that would actually be, if he did that would be incredible. Like the amount of that, I don't think that's the case this time.
Yeah.
But if he did that would be a hell of a PR move. Like that would be one of those moments in music that people talk about for a long time, whether it deserved it or not. It would be one. It's just one of those. It's just another fucking Kanye thing. It happens every 2 years, 2 or 3 years. It's I mean, he got checked into a mental institution a couple of years ago, which was good. He needed that. He was in a fucking place. He's gotten to, his ego's a whole, like, it's like a person with him. It's like there's two Kanyes and one's just his ego. And so, all right, that's enough Kanye. I think we can probably close this out. So we're gonna broaden each other's horizons. You want to go first, Brittany? Or you want me to go first?
I guess I'll go first, just because I'm gonna pretend that it didn't just occur to me 5 minutes before recording. So I'm going to, after maybe talking a little bit of smack about them earlier, I am going to suggest to you that you listen to HAIM's debut album, Days Are Gone.
Okay.
Which is very funny, because it's true. The glory days of them are gone for now, at least. I feel so bad saying that, because I love them so much. But I really do hope you enjoy this album. I think you probably will see the similarities between them and the Aces a little bit, just in maybe even just the guitar style. I think that's mostly what it is. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that.
Okay. It's back to rap this week, Brittany.
Of course.
Yeah. And in light of, some the recent Kanye events, I wanted to go with someone that's on the complete opposite end of that spectrum. And to someone else who I'm probably gonna have to listen to their discography of over time. It's smaller, but it's still worth listening to. It's Section 80 by Mr. Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay. I mean, trust me, I've heard so many things about this guy for years and how great he is, and for some reason, we know what the some reason is. It just never occurred to me to even look into it.
Yeah, so. This is his first studio album. He had a mixtape before this, but I didn't think that was worth going back to at this point. I've always been more of an album person anyway. Mixtapes are fun, but they don't have the substance that the albums generally do. And Kendrick generally has his albums be concept albums, and this is definitely one of them. It's not as broad or as vivid one as his sophomore and third album are. I think I could see this one ending up as your favorite of the list. This one or the fourth or fifth, depends on what depends. That's kind of a weird fourth, fifth thing, and we'll get to eventually. It's very good. It tackles, a lot of stuff. He grew up in Compton, so it tackles a lot of that kind of stuff. He's a storyteller for sure. It's he's someone you have to really listen to appreciate a lot of the time, but he makes it accessible enough that it's not too hard or big of an ask. It's just, and he's one of my favorite artists of all time too. He's become he's 5 for 5, 4 for 4, whatever you want to say. He hasn't made a bad album yet, and whether or not I don't always agree with his opinions, but I see where he's coming from all the time. And this is just some fun songs. This album. I don't know if you're gonna love it, but I think you'll at least like a few things on the album.
I mean, I'm definitely a lot more open to listening to him than I am to Kanye, just because I know that he's not a terrible person. It's
funny because Kanye's music is more your speed than Kendrick's music is. That's what's always funny to me, because Kanye he's got a lot of pop focus in his rap. It's a lot of mass appeal, and Kendrick isn't always going for mass appeal. Like his Damn was the first truly mass appeal album he's ever made. It just so happened that his other ones are just so good that it didn't matter. So yeah, I don't know if you quite appreciate the technical parts of it yet. I don't think you're there. So with how you listen to rap, but we'll see. I'm curious about the Kendrick experiment. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it because I'm never really looking forward to listening to a hip hop album. But like I said, I'm a lot more open to it than I would be if you were just like, all right, it's time for a Kanye album, because I feel like it'd be very bad timing.
Yeah, I didn't like. It's gonna be a couple weeks. You're probably gonna listen to one more before his next album comes out. Might get. I don't think we'll get through 2 before then, because it's only a month. It's only a month away. You'll listen to 2 of his albums before the next one comes out, and it's funny because I do think you're gonna like it, but I didn't want this would have been a really poor choice in timing for that. I've also not really listened to much Kanye music at all this week if it's come on, just not been in the mood to.
I totally get that.
Yeah, like I'm a huge Kanye fan, but he's a piece of shit. I don't want people to get the wrong opinion. I think I give him a pass. I don't. I think it's easy to understand with the hundreds of times, just over 7 episodes that we have mentioned separating art from the artist. I think you can get that pass. And if people don't realize that, then they're probably pretty fucking stupid. They're about as dumb as he acts like he is. Yeah, I like how you say that now, because he's not that dumb. I think that's the more disappointing part. He's not, and he's doing it on purpose. Oh well, I think it's gonna do it for this week, Brittany. Yeah. I'm excited to talk about some albums next week. Positive or negative, but yeah. Till then, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
See ya.
I'm looking back to time. Sometimes I feel like they don't understand me. I hear their mouths making foreign sounds. Sometimes I think they're all just speaking tongues.